You have made arguments. I think you were like one of the earliest proponents of the play-in game, yeah?
The tourney.
Oh, for NBA,
or the play-in tournament, yeah.
I was always. I just think the NBA has done such a bad job of making their regular season interesting.
I would agree.
They care about it more lately, but 82 games is ludicrous. And, you know, the tanking, which really started in the 2000s, is just so reprehensible. And you're incentivized to do it. So I was always like, especially when I was writing, I'd always trying to come up with, what if we did this? What if we did that? But the mindset is just, how do we not have regular season suck? Why do the playoffs have to be this much better than the regular season? I mean, ultimately it should be because they should have 60 games instead of 80, more rest for the players, and all kinds of things, but they're just never going to do it. They're too tied to the attendance numbers. So
I want to pitch. You've pitched the play-in tournament, and I think it's actually pretty cool. There's a mid-season tournament that's being pitched as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been around for 15 years, but the problem is nobody can figure out what the incentive is.
Yeah.
Because if you said, all right, you get the 5th pick in the draft next year, like, why do the players care about that?
Especially the ones that are up. Like, who gives a fuck?
Oh, good. You're bringing in competition for my job next year. That sounds great. Let me try really hard.
Exactly.
So they never figured that out. And then it's like, well, all right, it'll be this much money. Well, how much money do these guys need if they're making $20 to $40 million a year to be incentivized? So I've never heard the incentive piece worked out. People are talking about, could it be like some sort of playoff advantage? You know, you get 2 wins heading into a series, but then that's not fair to the other team. So I don't think they'll ever figure it out.
I got an idea that sounded really fucking cool 30 minutes ago, but I'm not so sure it's going to sound cool now. It was a decent idea.
I don't remember it, so it might have.
Obviously, Winter Classic at Rucker Park. That's what's going to fucking take the NBA regular season to the next level. I don't know if it's 1-2 games, but just roll a Winter Classic out there. Tell Adam Silver I said you got to do a Winter Classic. But you could do an outdoor series, and guys got to go out there and get a little cold. What do you think about that, Bill?
It's been discussed. They've talked about, like, could they do it at, like, could they play in Venice at, like, one of the playgrounds? Just do, like, a Venice playground game. Could they do Venice, Rucker Park? You couldn't do a place that would actually have snow and ice, but
but if you would like a Street Fighter situation where it's like the background is just gorgeous. You take up on top of a mountain somewhere, like you go to these very, like, on a beach and you know, right down the road from you, and like maybe outside Ryan's house on Manhattan Beach, where he played, maybe at the basketball court that he always plays alone in Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, he's like the guy in Above the Rim. He's just playing by himself without a ball. He's just practicing. Okay,
that's a perfect segue because this Lakers thing's coming out. Which is really exciting, and shout out to Jeff Perlman, who is a friend of the program. Really love Jeff, and it's based on, I guess, his book, but more importantly, it's based on, you know, Showtime Lakers.
80s Lakers, yeah.
And fun group, obviously, that's why it'll be a fun time. I was going to ask you, how hard is it? I know a lot of it's going to center around the personalities, right? How hard is it to get the basketball right? You know, like in a series or in a movie, and what's probably the worst on-screen basketball you've seen?
Oh my God, there's so many examples. I think it's done by Adam McKay, this show, who's like an actual real basketball fan. So right. I don't think he's going to throw away the basketball stuff.
Okay,
would be my prediction.
But like the guy that plays Kareem, he's 6'11", right? This guy actually played, but how many sky hooks are we going to see? Like, keep that in the bag.
I'm sure they like really worked with them.
I mean,
I know that people are really high on this show. I know the one thing I heard was because the actors are shorter than the actual ones, that when they do the basketball scenes, the hoops are lower.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like a 9 and...
It's like Tom Cruise in his shoes. Kind of like there's manipulation.
Most of these actors and actresses are tiny, like across the board. It's shocking when you meet somebody like Affleck, who's like a big-ass guy who could have played like tight end in college. Yeah, that you remember like the 6'2", 6'3" people because they're such outliers. Jeff Goldblum, he's like, I did a pod with him. He was like 6'4".
Really?
Couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Tall podcaster right here on the other side. I met Bill Simmons and I was like, holy shit, Bill.
I'm tall.
Looking at me eye to eye. He might be taller than you.
Wow.
You guys want to talk it out?
I could jump hook him.
I'm 6'4", but I claim 6'3", because when I say 6'4", people are like, "No, you're not. Prove it." I'm like, "Well, here I am."
Yeah.
Standing up.
So what would your combine height be, Bill?
I'm 6'1.5".
Okay.
He projects like 6'4".
I really wanted the 6'2". I just could never get there.
You're like
doing gravity boots. I just couldn't do it.
So who's the best cast in this Showtime Lakers show? It's by the Winning Time by Adam McKay's the director. Obviously, you guys know all his movies.
Well, Nixon's son plays Norm Nixon, which I thought was cool. Nixon's son. John C. Reilly is Jerry Buss.
Buss, right?
Which I'm not totally there with that, because I think Jerry Buss was. I remember, and I won't betray Magic, but when Jalen and we did basketball with Magic for a year, and you're in these rooms where you're just watching basketball for 8 hours, waiting for like the next halftime or whatever, and you're just bored, and we would just always ask Magic questions. And he would tell Dr. Buss stories. Dr. Buss sounded like the all-timer of just whatever he was doing every night.
Yeah.
And I don't see John C. Reilly like that. I don't see him as like, watch out, don't let your wife around John C. Reilly. I've done a podcast with John C. Reilly.
Maybe it's because we've seen him doing that.
It's like the guy from Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think who they have. Adrian Brody's Pat Riley.
Can he pull that off? Like, what do you have to be Pat Riley?
I think you have to be good looking and cool.
And confident.
Yeah, confident.
What kind of cologne does Pat Riley wear? That's what I want to know. That guy probably has some like, is it high karate or is it like, what kind of, I feel like Pat Riley has got a scent. Like
his story is unbelievable. He was like the fucking announcer. And they fired the coach and then ended up on a coaching staff, and all of a sudden he's coaching, one of the best teams of all time, and was kind of meant to do it. And now I think, he's one of the 4 iconic non-player careers anyone's had.
By the way,
he played too.
You brought up hanging out with Magic Johnson a lot. Macon took a piss next to Magic Johnson once. Sort
of. We were at the Garden. It was a Sweet 16. He went in first, and then I was behind him at the urinal. And you decided this was the time to take a picture? No. I decided it wasn't. I made a very, very mature decision not to be like, "Hey, Magic." I waited until after. Then I found him, and it's a great bathroom stall fan interactions are the worst. The worst of all time.
What's your number one? I took a piss next to ... guy.
Michael Phelps.
Oh, that's a good one. Mine is the Undertaker.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, in Vegas at like 2 a.m. and just in dead silence next to the Undertaker.
Oh, saying shit.
And then he walked away, and I was like, "I'm up $600. I just took a piss next to the Undertaker. What a night!"
Amazing, dude. Michael Phelps was at the ESPYs, and I was like, one of the greatest true athletes to ever live. I just pissed next to him. I really like the Jason Clark. Yeah, I like that cast a lot. I think that's going to work. It looks like him, and maybe I'm being a sucker for the visual, but I think there's something to that. And Adrian Brody, he's got his work cut out for him. But I don't know. This is a weird thing. Actors playing actors, like Max E. Williams playing Jack Nicholson. Like, I don't know. That's a tough thing to pull off there.
Yeah.
So
look, we're on such a good run with HBO shows, especially coming off Succession, which I think has kind of moved into the pantheon at this point. And now, people, I just feel like if they figure out this show too, TV's back. I remember worried after Thrones. We were, from a ringer standpoint, we were like, holy shit, are we ever going to have another like elite prestige show? All these shows are like a B+.
Some dumbass people think it's Yellowstone.
My dad does.
My parents. They love it.
Yellowstone.
I can't get. My parents love it. They were like, "Sit down, let's watch Yellowstone." We lasted 30 minutes. Same thing was. I can't get into Succession.
Bill, I think Succession is the greatest show I've ever seen. My friend here likes to call it Succession because he needs action and plot.
No, I don't.
He's not a big word guy.
I need some dead space. I'm a minimalist. All the movies I like, there's like less talking. Every emotion is.
So you'll like Power of the Dog then, because nothing fucking happens in that movie for 2 hours.
I like movies that I walk away and say, "What the fuck just happened?" And I got to think about it. I don't want
if you were into Succession, that would have been last night for you.
Okay, well maybe I'll stick it out for Succession. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.